This story isn't about rage. It's not about yelling, fighting, or even taking someone to court. It's about precision, silence, and a revenge so calm it burned a man's life to the ground, one drop at a time. My name is Jack. I live in Asia, in the heart of a buzzing capital city. Just a few weeks ago, I bought an old house, a place that had been left to decay for years. But to me, it was an opportunity. The house was previously owned by some family friends who had moved abroad. Financially, they were struggling, and they needed to sell fast. So I got a prime location in the middle of the city at a price that would make any real estate agent cry. But what I didn't buy was the baggage that came with the neighborhood. When I first moved in, the house had no gate. The front door, just a padlock. Half of the renovation was left unfinished. There were paint cans in corners, broken tiles in the hallway, and dust on everything. But I wasn't worried. I had plans, I had energy, I had 3 loyal dogs, and most importantly, I had freedom. On day 1, I walked into the garage and stopped. There it was, a motorcycle. Not mine, not left by the previous owners, just there, like it belonged. No note, no explanation, no shame. I calmly rolled it out, placed it on the street, and immediately called a guy to install a steel gate. That same evening, someone came banging on my new gate. Narrator, lock band, knocking, red in the face, knocking like the property was his. But I didn't answer. I stood by the window, watching him stew in his own frustration. After 15 minutes, he gave up, took the bike, walked away. That, my friend, was the first red flag. Days passed. I put up a no parking sign because apparently people in this area thought this house was still abandoned. But once they saw me, a 6-foot guy with 3 dogs, yeah, the message was received loud and clear. Things started to settle for a while. And then came the shower. One random morning, I was taking a shower and noticed the water pressure was down, way down. Not just meh pressure, I mean like weak drizzle, like something was interfering. At the exact same moment, I heard something, V-R-R-R-R, a pump, from my next door neighbor's house. Now, let me paint a picture for you. The neighbor, old guy, retired mechanic, lives on the ground floor of a 3-story house. The upper 2 floors rented out to tenants. That was his income. No pension, no job, just rent money, and apparently my water, because as soon as his pump shut off, I checked my taps again, and boom, pressure was back. Narrator, that's when the pieces started clicking. You see, this neighbor had always been bitter about this house being sold. He had complained to the previous owners, tried to interfere, tried to delay. They warned me about him, said he'd be trouble, but I didn't care. I was confident, I wasn't easily intimidated, and he didn't seem to have the guts to confront me directly. So instead, he found another way. I went deep. Started investigating the plumbing, checked for hidden pipes, leaks, any signs that my line had been tapped. I didn't find the exact source, but the pattern was undeniable. Every time his pump ran, my pressure dropped. Every time it stopped, my pressure came back. He was stealing my water. And not just recently. Oh no, this had likely been happening for years, even while the house was vacant. The water bills during the vacancy were always suspiciously high. Everyone blamed it on leaks. But now I knew. It wasn't leakage, it was theft. I sat on it for a few days, thinking, should I confront him? Should I report him? Should I cause a scene? But then I thought, why stoop to his level? Why waste time shouting when I could end it quietly? Narrator. So I waited, watched, planned. Then came Monday, the perfect opportunity. Now here's a little detail about how pumps work in our country. Tanks are installed on rooftops. To fill them, you need a pump. That pump is controlled by a ball valve. When the water level drops, the valve opens. That triggers the pump to run until the tank is full and the valve closes again. But if no water enters the tank, the valve stays open. The pump keeps running forever. And running a pump without water, that's like revving a car engine with no oil. You're begging for a meltdown. So when I heard his pump turn on that Monday evening, I walked outside, calm, collected, silent. I turned off my main water supply. I didn't break in, didn't touch his property, didn't break any law. I just turned a valve on my own home and walked back in, smiling. Hours passed. I fed my dogs, made some tea, read a book, and around 3 o'clock, I heard it. Shouting, tenants arguing, "No water! Why is there no power? What the hell is going on?" I chuckled because it worked. The pump ran dry for hours, it overheated, it blew out fuses, and the house wiring, old, outdated, completely overloaded. The result? Total blackout, no water, no power, no peace. And guess what? In our country, water and electricity are essential services. Tenants can file legal complaints if those services aren't maintained, which they did immediately. By Wednesday, one tenant moved out. By Friday, the other had filed a police complaint. By Sunday, the neighbor gone. He moved in with his daughter, no tenants, no income, and a $500 0 cents fine from the government. And on top of that, he had to return both security deposits, and he couldn't re-rent the place without fixing the wiring and plumbing, which would cost even more. And then, the cherry on top, he came to my gate, eyes tired, face pale, voice calm. "Did you turn off your water last week?" I smiled. "Yeah, my tank had a leak, had to wait for the plumber." He just stared. For a moment, silent. Then he said, "Oh, okay," and walked away. I don't know if he knows I know, but I don't care, because the truth is, he can't do a damn thing. I called a plumber the next week, had him check every line, cut off any possible pipe leaving my property. I made sure this would never happen again. I didn't raise my voice, didn't break a single law. All I did was turn off my own tap. And in doing so, I took down a parasite who thought he could steal without consequences. They say revenge is best served cold. I say it's best served silent. On screen, in deep voice, silently tolerated is weakness, but silently avenged is art. If you enjoyed this story of justice and karma, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real-life revenge tales that prove you don't need to fight loud to win hard.